Okay, so we're here with Ruin My Rhythm author Robert Soule and artist Luna Cooper to talk story, creativity, artistry, and more. Say hi.
Hi, I'm Rob. I am so glad to be a part of this project and working with excellent artists.
Okay, say hi.
Hi, I'm Luna, and I'm also very excited to be doing this. It's my first job, so it's really cool.
Excellent. Talk to me a little bit about collaboration. I wanted to know, since you guys are working together, what that process has been like, and it seems like that's an important part of the creative process, learning to work with other people and help bring your own vision to it, as well as bring the other person's vision to it. So, well, Luna, why don't you start off and tell me a little bit about what that's been like having the artist side?
It's been a lot of fun. Collaboration is difficult to balance the visions that two or more people have for the project, but Rob is really easy to work with. Not just easy, but really good to work with. And
Cool.
I did some collaborating with my sister on our previous projects.
Champions of Arundel.
Yeah. And that was a lot of fun too, but in some ways it's harder because we're best friends and we're really close, but it also causes more friction, and neither of us knew as much what we were doing. But this has been really good so far, and I'm really enjoying it.
Okay, and how's it been on your end?
Well,
I know you'd say the same thing, but what's for the writer's side?
No,
how's that?
first of all, I think it's great when you're working with someone that you know has some abilities that you do not have, and that's rewards of collaborating is like partnering yourself with somebody that you know will make your vision come true, make your vision better than it could have possibly have been. And so I think some of the skills that I see with Luna and that I try to work on myself is just not being so attached to whatever you're feeling has to come out, but realizing that I'm part of the the solution.
Right. It's like a win-win compromise that you need, I think, probably on both sides, to figure out how to get what you're seeing in your head onto paper with both of you putting it down.
And go ahead.
Just that usually when you whenever you're working with someone, collaborate with them, what they see in their head is different than what you see, so you just kind of have to find the perfect marriage of what both of you see.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to, it's not going to be exactly what I envision, but I kind of have the attitude that I'm willing to see it different than what I could do on my own, and realize that honestly it's better because it's 2 or 3 or however many people are working on it.
Right.
It's going to make it better and more full.
Yeah, and I would imagine part of it really is just all about communication and talking with each other and sharing ideas and feedback, right? So has the feedback process been pretty easy for you guys? What's that been like?
Well, I think with working with Luna, I know that Luna has an idea of what the story is about, and I know that she has a direction she wants to go.
Cool.
And I don't feel like she goes too far, one direction. I think she really kind of works within what I've communicated, and
it's looking good.
And she's made it her own, which I think is fantastic, because I'm so happy to hand a story over to a really talented person.
Yeah, awesome. Has it been a little nerve-wracking sending pages to someone and hearing their feedback?
Yeah, it is a little bit nervous, but it's always good getting someone else's feedback on what I'm doing, so I can know how to make it better.
Well, let's go on to talk a little bit about the story itself then, because obviously I'll let Mr. Soule there tell a little bit about the story and what it is, but I'm kind of interested in learning what attracted you to telling a story like this. It's basically about a young girl trying to find her father, but also her place in the world, and to know what you found attractive about that as a writer. And then when he's done, Luna, you can tell me a little bit about why that resonated with you and why you wanted to draw it.
Yeah, I think the story is universal, whether it would have been cast as a boy or a girl as the main character. Relationships are so hard sometimes.
Yeah, I could see that.
And relationships are not just given to you sometimes, and you have to go really work at them. And I think some people don't have that relationship with their dad or that relationship with their mom, and may never get that. But you want it. And whether it's relationships with your parents or anybody else, you have to work at those relationships, and sometimes it's really heartbreaking. Not to experience what you envision of that relationship supposed to be.
Right.
And so that I feel like is universal. And then I also like characters that are vulnerable, but also, even though they're vulnerable and maybe a little at risk, they're still strong enough to make it. And I like seeing a story where a character doesn't realize how strong they are, and then they figure out how strong they are.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. And what drew you to working on the project?
I really like the way the story's told, like with the characters, with the main character Maria, the feeling of being lost and not knowing where you are is something that I can understand, something that is relatable to me, and it makes it easier to connect with the character, to understand what she's going through, and just to care about that. And I really like the way characters are told. That's very important to me, and I think that you do a very good job in the story with the characters, and that's a big part of what drew me to want to work on the story.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, I like, just speaking as myself, the fact that I think everybody goes through that process of trying to figure out what they're supposed to be doing, who they are, what they're passionate about, and so I think that's a neat thing to see. Talk to me a little bit about some of your influences, visual, artistic influences, graphic novels, comics, anything that you feel like influenced the project at hand.
Yeah, I can start off.
Okay.
I haven't been a big reader of the graphic novel, but I do know that the Ghost World was something that I thought was awesome. And, Daniel Clo's character, Enid, is snarky, and she's sort of an outsider. And I saw my character, Maria, being like that. Also I've had thoughts of Maria being a little bit like the girl from A Girl with a Dragon Tattoo.
Oh yeah, Steve Wilson.
Elizabeth, I think her name is Lisbeth Salander. Because she just looks like a tough girl you want to kind of stay a little bit away from.
Right.
And yet she has that kind of outward shell, but she really wants to have a relationship with people, and that kind of ruined my rhythm is kind of, I guess maybe the influence there. Those two influences maybe is in terms of a graphic novel with this character is kind of where that came from a little bit.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Tell me a little about your drawing style and particularly on Ruin My Rhythm, kind of what some of your influences were.
I've always really liked kind of like a stylized, like more cartoony, but with a more serious story backdrop. I just thought that was always interesting, kind of a dark, fun combination.
Nice.
So, like one of my favorite comic books right now, or I guess it was a mini-series, is The Umbrella Academy by Dark Horse. It's really good. And also
shout out.
Yeah, storytellers like Joss Whedon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense for sure.
Also, music as a big inspiration for almost everything that I do.
Oh, excellent. Do you have some music that's inspiring, like you're drawing for Ruin My Rhythm right now, or just in general that inspires you as you draw?
I listen to a lot of like My Chemical Romance and Green Day and 21 Pilots.
Okay, nice. A little bit of punky. That sounds like Maria for sure.
I like punk
Yeah.
music a lot.
Yeah, cool. How about you? Anything musically that you're
music?
thinking? Well, like the soundtrack of Ruin My Rhythm.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I'm a big fan of bands like The Strokes and TV on the Radio. Those are New York bands, and so the fact that she goes from sort of a small town into a city, I kind of feel like those bands maybe kind of are where she's arriving, you know. But you know, I like Radiohead, and I don't know if any of those bands would be, you know, in that soundtrack. But I kind of feel like they would, because they're a little bit driving. Some of their tunes are driving.
Driving, but edgy and on the outsider fringe in some ways.
Outsider,
Radiohead seems like
and
that.
Introspective kind of.
Yeah.
Which is where I think, as much with a graphic novel as you can be, there's a lot going on in her head.
Cool.
So I think maybe those in terms of music.
Excellent.
So.
Sounds good. Well, it's been nice chatting with both of you. I'm probably going to talk to you a little bit more in a little while.
Okay.
But Ruin My Rhythm, coming out in October 2016. Get it. It's going to be good. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.